Okay, this presentation sort of thunked down from something that's twice as long, so I've done my best, but I'm sure I'm going to overrun, but I drank a lot of coffee to make sure, so I'm a bit, I'm a bit hyped up, so we'll get on with it as quick as we can. Okay, the event asked me to talk about this because last year we kind of completed, well, what some people would think was the transition to the cloud, but it's always just one step. And this article, which Whitehall Media picked up on, was focusing on the economic and financial benefits. So I'll talk about why we use the cloud, how we use it, and actually, on 1 year on, we've got to 1 million documents in Google. This was one of our students. I chose this student for a lot of reasons, but mostly because he's got a mobile phone. And that's how most of our students are learning these days, and how a lot of our teachers are as well. I am working on a new type of strategy. I got fed up with these big, long, detailed, prescriptive things that go on. So I'm trying to do an IT strategy. It doesn't mention IT at all. And it's all multimedia. In fact, it's done as a Prezi. Because I find with IT strategies, they just get boring, So I wanted an IT strategy that people could engage with and be inspired by. So this isn't finished yet. This is, in fact, it's better than this now. This is from about a month ago. I'm not really going to talk much about the strategy. Just there's some of the key concepts in there. I've taken mobile out, by the way. I thought that's too much about technology. It is about being mobile, but I thought any time, any device, anywhere would sort of cover mobile. So I took mobile out because it had too many implications about technology. So the idea of strategy was, if you like, the business you want to do, and then you choose an implementation plan to achieve it. It's quite often you get confused with implementation and strategy, and the whole thing kind of loses the vision. So I'm working on a new type of IT strategy for what I call a new age, if you like. And in implementing that strategy, I've got a cough, so it's going to freak the guys out with the levels over there. I keep you on your toes. The cloud is a perfect platform, really, as everybody's been talking about today, for implementing a kind of agile, mobile type of strategy. I'm going to mention Google quite a bit because that's the platform that we use the most. But we are a bit eclectic. We use almost anything you like and try and stitch it together. But Google's the mainstream product that we use. When we started our journey to the cloud, I kind of thought about 3 different things. The philosophy, if you like. I like to use that, actually. I am in education, and we can get away with using business philosophy, that kind of idea. But then there's the business and the cultural aspects of why to move to the cloud. So first of all, the philosophy. We started our journey in 2008, and it coincided, of course, with Nick Carr's utility view of computing. Why have IT? Nobody generates electricity anymore, generally, unless the power's down and you've got your UPS kicking in, But nobody generates power anymore. You connect into a grid. You probably know about Nick Carr's work. That's the same type of period when we decided we've got to change our paradigm, change the way we do IT. The roots of this presentation go back a couple of years, so I don't know if any of you watch Celebrity Come Dancing, but that's the winners from a few years ago. But yes, everybody's been talking about that today, so it's nothing new. It's about agility, new tools for a post-PC era. I mean, last year was a tipping point, really, 2014, when mobile traffic exceeded PC traffic on the internet. So in a sense, we are in the post-PC age already. Mobile is the new IT platform, if you like. It's also about web, cloud, social. I call it Martini, anytime, any place, any device. DIY and easy and speed. Everybody's been talking about that today, so nothing new really. And scalability. If we use the Google platform, we get on, a very infinite, of a very scalable platform. If one of our students happens to put their assignment up on YouTube, because we encourage multimedia, assignments, they don't have to worry about, scalability. It just uses the YouTube infrastructure, and it can go viral and get 1 million hits. We don't have to worry. I don't have to go and buy this enormous piece of metal. Continuous innovation. you don't have to hang around waiting for the next, batch process, 3 years from Microsoft to get a new version of Office, to install it and across all this stuff. You just got, like on one of these snow platforms there, you just stand on it and the innovations just come at you, So quickly, briefly, it's happening all the time. What's happened on our platform, the Google platform recently? Well, in September, Google made storage infinite. There's a bit of a war going on, wasn't there? Especially for education, they've made it free. So, it's a bit of a no-brainer in a sense, for a while, during the last decade, we were able to track changes on our internal network for USB storage, giving students a gigabyte each. We've got 20,000 students each year, gigabyte each, and then, 2 gigabytes, 3 gigabytes, and then we just couldn't keep up. Go to the Google platform, we get infinite storage. We called it the Google Infinity Drive. So students just bung this stuff up. They don't have to worry about it anymore. Huge videos from the media department, up it goes. You don't have to worry anymore. Backed up, etc. Recently, you might have seen, suits my strategy quite well, bring your own device on mobile, Google's Android for Work program, where people can bring their own devices in. You can then provision a little area of that device that you can manage. It's not my approach, but a lot of people might want to do that. So you can wipe company data on somebody's own device without. It's always been the problem. Bring your own device. If you're worried about they lose the phone, you're worried about data security. You don't really necessarily want to wipe their phone in case they find it, but you can wipe the corporate data on it. Typical what's going on is they've upgraded, a Drive app. Just came, just happened. Nothing. I didn't have to do anything. Lovely, wonderful. Again, the apps that they provide just got a new look. Just happened. I didn't have to install anything. A new language on what was that one? Google Mail, Burmese, is it? Yeah. I didn't have to install anything like the old days. So yeah, nothing to install. I'm probably traumatized. I'm no spring chicken, as you can see, but I'm probably traumatized from life in IT. The old download it, install it, patch it, all that stuff. I love this. I don't have to do anything. I can concentrate on doing IT. I can concentrate on applying IT rather than doing IT. But there is a problem sometimes. I don't know if you've heard of this. People tend to reject what's new. It's a Semmelweis reflex, it's called. This guy, Semmelweis, he was a doctor, and he suggested that doctors can spread disease. And of course, oh no, gentlemen can't possibly spread disease, And he suggested, well, they should wash their hands. As in the days before we knew about, microbes and things like that. And oh no, people can't possibly go to all this effort. No, wrong. And of course, I'm not sure if you know Arthur C. Clarke's laws, but any sufficiently advanced technology can be confused with magic. And people have often wanted to burn me at the stake, our organisation, for suggesting we can change some of our traditional ways of IT and have a utility view. We don't need computers in our college with data on it. We can do it on Google. They've burned me at the stake. But you've got to recognise that every stage in IT is never the final destination. The last mainframes weren't the final destination. Client server wasn't the final destination. The PC era, if you like, wasn't the final destination. Nor is the cloud, actually, because I do some talks. I did a talk last week at the Expo Europe about what comes after the cloud. And we've got to realise that the cloud is now mature, and there are signs of what comes next. But I won't go into that now. But we've got to realise this isn't the final destination. We're really just in a very mature phase of the cloud at the moment. So when we look at introducing a new technology, I don't know if you're aware of Roger Moore, not James Bond, but Rogers and Moore, diffusion of technology. The early market, they're the people with the vision and the leading edge, and they're the people that are easy to sell to. They're the people that the philosophy is good for. And I come across this chasm where I try to sell philosophy to the more hard-line, pragmatist, sceptical lot that are across the chasm, the mainstream. So you say, cloud, look what you can do, and the visionaries would all go for it. And then you get these lot, the Semmelweis reflex, Oh no, I can't possibly do that. So you have to use a different language, something I learned really more recently. Because it was okay during the 80s and 90s and first part of the century really, because you were rolling over a green field. You know, you had mainframes, PCs, you had LANs, you had the internet. There was nothing before. But the problem now is that, you know, people have got so used to a traditional IT infrastructure. People have grown up marinated in it. They don't know anything else. So to cross that chasm, they have to use different language. They're the people that, when you say press any key, you know, they have to be told what key to press. I call them concrete thinkers. Now, they're people that need to be told what to do generally, and they need to have measurements. You can't sell them philosophy and vision and ideas. They need to have measurements. They're the business thinkers, if you like. They need a bottom line. So some of the measures, you know, we took, you know, we're a college, we have about 20,000 students each year. At that time when we went, we had 75,000 student accounts. We had 2 petabytes of storage on Google. This summer, 20,000 students, well, at the time, before September, when I provisioned it, I did 600 terabytes, 5 minutes, click the button, done. You know, amazing. Of course, now, click the button, it's infinite. I can't measure it, you know, it's just, that's a bit difficult, that. I can't measure it because it's infinite. Costs, again, I can't cost the student one because, you know, with 75,000 was 85,000 student accounts now, you know, infinite storage. It's crazy. But for the staff one, just the staff, 1,000 staff, it costs us nothing on Google because we're education. But if I calculated, you know, giving everybody 2 gigabit mailboxes, hardware and software licensing, the power, the backup, the support, maintenance, all the licensing, all the rest of it, it was about, you know, 18,000 a year just to do email infrastructure, you know, with front ends, back ends, this, that, God knows what, you know. Whew. Google is just, you know, just point your browser at it and it works. It's like burning money, the old style. Environmental measurement, you know, again for the staff, I can't calculate it for the student one, it's just too big in a sense. Can't really do the student thing anymore on traditional computing. 16 tonnes of carbon dioxide, 2,000 pounds of electricity each year. Take that out, doesn't cost any. In fact, Google are not just environmentally neutral, they're actually environmentally positive because their data centers put energy back into the grid. Business continuity, again, there's my little data center somewhere, one of the members of staff trying to model it, you know, give it a scale. Compared to a Google data center, you know, it's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? You know, I would stand up in front of the traditionalists and say, you know, who do you trust more, me or the experts at Google? And they still choose me at the time. And so only because they can fire me, really. They can kick me and use traditional management on me. But it doesn't stack up, really. You know, with the Amazon, Microsoft, Google, you know, you've got world-class experts. You've got a distributed operating system. You know, it doesn't really compare to me in that server room. Security, again, is a pretty good no-brainer as well, you know, compared to a local storage thing. No local storage. Google give you very easy two-factor authentication. It's a piece of cake. You know, your mobile phone, you get a code on it. It's great. I've issued that for some students that have had kind of stalking issues with some people trying to crack their accounts. And you've got all the, you know, ISO levels and things. You know, it's taken care of. We've had to do that. Again, like the other guy was talking about, the auditors. Now, they want to know these things. And so we just point them at the various agreements that Google have just to cover that. And lastly, so you've got the philosophy, you've got the business measurement context, and then what a lot of people talk about now is the cultural impacts that you can get by using the cloud. Now, the traditional model is a centralized hierarchy, but for culture to spread, you've got to have a network, and you've got to have sharing, collaboration, cooperation. Of course, that happens better in the cloud. You know, Space Station can do a Google Hangout, so can I, actually, from my bed with my Christmas hat on. I didn't bother to get out of bed. You know, students don't like to get out of bed for the lectures, nor do their teachers anymore. In fact, that is a remote meeting. You may be able to see a class there. We had a Google Hangout video conference across London, and I did it from my bed. You know, we had colleges across London, some classes and things like that, and I didn't bother to get out of bed. So Google Docs is great for collaboration. A lot of you might be familiar with it, but the social aspects are really good. Google Plus is like Facebook for a corporation, if you like. For us, the students like it because they don't want us to be on their Facebook or their social media. Not so many students, probably not that many people use Google Plus necessarily, but it's quite a useful tool for that reason in the college because it doesn't get confused with their own identities. Hangouts and communities. Here's my quick screenshot, it goes down and down and down actually, but there's a quick screenshot of my social connections inside of our college. You know, IT strategy, going Google, 3D printing, you know, all sorts of things that people, just like Facebook, but in our company, in our college. Here's an example of the cultural aspect. Here's Toby Doncaster as a teacher. Oh, scared as heck. I'm going to do my first thingy. Some support. You know, this is the, oh my God, 1 minute. All right. Here's an example of one of the teachers set up their own community. I'll leave these little things for later. Why is it inconvenient? Well, in one instance, there was a teacher doing a presentation and Google would change the interface in the middle of the presentation. So she was starting teaching one thing and it changed in the middle. You know, that's the continuous innovation that happens. Inconvenient, as I said, because a lot of education, a lot of organisations happen in a box. They happen with a kind of hierarchical structure. And instead, you've got like opening Pandora's box, you've got a network, which can be dangerous to the traditional organisation. And IT is complicated. I've got about 30 seconds. IT is traditionally complicated. It's like a drug dealership. You know, it's hard. Oh, we've got consultancies and services to give you. Whereas who showed 1 billion people how to use Facebook, for example? So basically, the cloud, yeah, I love it. Free, easy, do it yourself, continuous innovation, martini anywhere. Why it's important, we're in a post-PC age, so what got us here won't get us to the next era of computing. Generation Z, grown up digital, grown up mobile, they're going to sweep through our organisations. Today, we've got students with laptops and mobiles. Tomorrow, they're all going to be, you don't see a PC in sight. Couple of seconds. How do we use it? We use it for connected learning, connecting teachers to students inside and outside the classroom. There's a community of our enterprise business students sharing pictures of what they're making. Remote teaching, me teaching from home. Remote tutors, remote meetings, and a teacher using his mobile phone. So I think I'll probably flip through these, let you watch these, because I'm getting kicked off stage now, aren't I? You can see these slides online later on. So, but I think last image there is a kind of symbol of the social, cultural aspect of the cloud in our college, from a community where everybody made blankets for orphans in Eastern Europe. And everybody made a little square and patched it together, and we had a community for it. And there it is, all sewn up, community effort. So thank you. Well, that 15 minutes went quick, didn't it?